welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena. Tonight you join us for two very exciting games. We got a Valorant match in the ECAC, and then we are going to be moving on to a Mountain West Overwatch match against Air Force as the Mountain West postseason starts. But before we get to that, we got to start in the ECAC, where our Valorant Blue Squad is set to go up against Wichita State. The Broncos versus the Shockers, and the first time on broadcast for the Valorant Blue Squad. It'll be exciting to see their debut and what they bring to the table. And of course, us to judge their best efforts will be us. Jacob Palmer, your host, and Bryce Jensen, co-host for tonight. And Bryce, start us off with this first matchup, Boise State versus Wichita State in the ECAC. Like I said, this is the first time we're seeing the Valorant Blue Squad before us, so give us a sense of what the state of play is for that school and their opponents.
So I got to talk to some of the players before the match started today, and so far the Valorant team, they've only lost one. This blue team has only lost once in all of their time in play, which is incredible for how stacked this whole area can be for talent. But the Shockers are currently undefeated in their season. So the real question tonight, I believe, is does the Blue Squad have what it takes to topple the Titan? And you know what? I think they do. We haven't gotten the pleasure to see them on broadcast quite yet, but at the same time, I have faith in their abilities. I've seen a few of their clips just from online and from some of the clips floating around just to get a feel for what they're really good at, and I think that they have a shot to take this one home tonight.
All right, I got a major prediction. Everyone needs to stop what they're doing and listen, because I'm about to tell you how this match is going to go. Whoever wins is going to be the one who follows Doc's Keys to the Game, brought to you here today, and Valorant. And Valorant, Doc's Keys to the Game, of course. Everyone pay attention here. Focus your angles and flank. Know your win condition. Count your cards and call abilities, and of course, click heads. It's all brought to you by Blue Ribbon Painting, the MVPs of painting. With over 90 years of combined experience, they're proud to be Boise's go-to team of local, multi-generational painters who know exactly how to level up your home. If you're ready to transform your space, then go to blueribbonpainting.net to schedule your free estimate.
And you know, with Valorant being such a slow game compared to some of the other things that we stream on here, like Overwatch, for example, kind of the opposite end of the spectrum with this one, it is really important that you do count those cards. You do click those heads when necessary. Every ability matters in Valorant. And I may not have nearly as many hours as many other Valorant players do, but I can still see the importance of every single ability, no matter how minute. You might think that one flash from Phoenix isn't going to do anything, but you never know.
Well, we say it kind of tongue-in-cheek, the whole click heads thing, but the fundamentals that you really want to nail behind that are going to be your crosshair placement when you're holding an angle, and your ability to adjust, on those spray transfers. You got to make sure that you're adjusting for the spray, making sure that you're setting up those headshots, and this is going to be another first for us. During the whole PEC season, we did not see Fracture whatsoever, but here it makes its grand debut here tonight.
I will say Fracture is one of my favorite maps in the game. Sure, it's not balanced at all, but at the same time, it's really funny because you have attackers pretty much playing defense and defenders essentially playing attackers depending on how they want to play. And you can almost always play to your operator's strengths. You want to run a fully offensive comp, you don't have to take very many Sentinels. You can play all those duelists. You can pretty much play whatever you want. You want to play a team full of Sentinels? Go ahead and do it. You can pretty much play defense one way or another.
Well, speaking of defense, that's where Boise State is going to be starting out on for both of these first two maps. They're going to be defending, and then the round winner of, looks like map 2, will be able to choose which side they want to play on Haven. I do want to say, I'm saving that quote in the database now, because that is a really funny quote. Sure, it's not balanced at all, but it's really funny.
Hey, I mean, it's like the age-old saying. I mean, Your Honor, it would have been funny if it worked.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there's a lot of situations. I bet there's a lot less situations like that in Valorant than there are with Overwatch, which I'm a little bit more familiar with. Like, for instance, picking Orisa. even though she's totally meta. And I mean, we're not here to talk about Overwatch, but I got to shoehorn Overwatch into every game that I commentate.
We have that coming up, Bryce. Patience.
Hey, I'm a very impatient person.
No, we got to, talking about patience, this team's been waiting all season right now to get up on stage and have us broadcast them, so let's pay them the respect they deserve.
Yeah, I guess you are right. We probably should talk a little bit about Valorant in this Valorant broadcast. Overwatch, there will be a time for Overwatch when it comes, but I will be really interested to see how both of these teams like to play out. We've seen fairly even compositions. No real class has really taken control of the meta so far in Valorant, to my knowledge. So it'll be interesting to see what the Broncos decide to run. Are they going to play it a little bit more defensively? Are they going to run a few more duelists than what we might be used to? I guess we're just going to have to wait and see as we go into the pick phase.
Yeah, it's a question of what they want to double up on usually. Double duelist, double initiator. Double initiator is where the varsity squad usually has found themselves because of how good Tejo is. Pairing him with the Breach has worked out in a lot of scenarios, but you never quite know when you move out of varsity and into some of the more open divisions. People might just kind of do what is a comfort pick, and we get a little bit of a look at what we got to look forward to in Fracture. Man, it has been a hot minute since I have been here. I don't even think for this season, but last year's season as well, we didn't see any Fracture. It has been at least a year or maybe two.
Well, a long time coming. It's like seeing an old friend once again, right back in the saddle and ready for another game of exciting Valorant gameplay. And Fracture is always a joy to have. You have no idea where anybody's coming, and trying to hold 4 angles with 5 people is always fun to see how teams try to tackle that.
Fracture, of course, gone through a good number of changes in its lifetime. Boise State, though, all caught up with that. It's just looking to see that they've got the loading correctly. It looked to me like we might have been loading into Ascent instead of Fracture.
Oh man, that would be a shame to not play Fracture.
Again, everyone, patience. We're gonna get to Ascent. We're gonna get to the Valorant game.
And even in Valorant, you got to be patient.
It's also nice they're enjoying their first time in the limelight up on stage. They've been waving, admiring themselves on the monitors, and it is cool finally being able to actually compete here in the arena. It's a different experience that you can't really do it justice unless you come on down here, which we encourage all viewers to do so if you want to come cheer on the Broncos. Open Monday through Saturday, noon to 9.
And it's always fun to see. It's always fun to be up on that stage. The lights are bright. But you just got to make sure they're not too bright. They don't blind you a little bit, because it is kind of a big swap up from the row of desks in the varsity room to the bright lights of the stage. And honestly, it is a really fun experience that I hope we get to see all of our alternate teams up here at one point during the season or another, because not only does it mean that these players get a lot more recognition than what we would normally see, but we also get to see a lot more diversity of play. Sure, we get to see what varsity cooks up, and we see how they shape the meta a little bit going into it, but then you take these other players who might just play differently. We might not see Tejo at all.
We already got a preview of that. The first lock-in for Boise State was Sage. I haven't seen Sage since I've last seen Fracture. Okay, everything I said for, not seeing Fracture in a long time goes for Sage as well.
That might be
a hot minute.
That might be the reason. Sage might just be the GOAT on Fracture. You just run Sage for Fracture, and that's it.
Or it might just be what this particular team has cooking up. You never quite know, because oftentimes you do kind of see the bare bones of kind of the meta composition, and it's usually kind of one agent that's usually swapped on out in between.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm kind of surprised at how much dominance Tejo has had in the meta so far going into it. When he first released, I believe it was in the last act, it was kind of up in the air at how good he would be. And honestly, going through, watching some of the meta picks for our varsity team, it's really interesting to see how he's played. He's almost like a better Cypher in a way.
I'll tell you another agent that took a little while to catch on, but once she did, Boise State has been locking her in almost every single week, has been the Deadlock. Now, they did recently change the barrier mesh, so it's not quite as good as it once was, but Boise State still loved that ability for its it could shut down entire entrances to specific sites. And until, until Deadlock really became popular or was introduced to the game, that was usually reserved for the Viper Spit and Ultimate. So when you get a similar effect to just a regular ability you can purchase.
Yeah, the subtle power creep in Valorant is starting to show its head a little bit more. But at the same time, Deadlock does have a few weaknesses. Like Viper, you get damaged inside of that, and you don't get that luxury with Deadlock. And I learned the hard way a few times that you can actually shoot through those blockages as well. And it's definitely a trade-off. You trade the damage and for a little bit more consistency, and I bet it all just comes down to what these teams are more comfortable with in the end.
Of course, as one person who likes to see kind of people pop off, then I'm really partial to the ISO, which Boise State usually brings out on Haven. That's where the varsity team is fancy playing ISO, but you never quite know with this kind of Valorant Blue Squad if they really prefer the same strategies.
That is true, and there's a lot of different ways that you can really pop up with characters. I mean, ISO, that is definitely the big one that a lot of people think of when it comes to popping off as these characters. I mean, you have a free shield, essentially, that restores on kill. You have an ultimate that initiates a 1v1 that you get an advantage in that 1v1. It's kind of not very fair, you know. I think it should just be one wall on either side. And
no, an ultimate has to favor you. Come on.
No, it should just be a 1v1. Like forced, you're going to join my lobby. We're going to go into a custom game. 1v1 me.
Well, you're wrong, and I'll just leave it at that as we wait for these teams. It's just the nature of a live tournament. But yeah, going up against an undefeated team, really, it's a question, though, are they undefeated because they haven't played Boise State yet is the question.
Yeah, are they undefeated because they've been playing some of the weaker teams in the conference, or are they undefeated because they are that guy, if you will say? I mean, it'll be interesting either way to see because, I mean, if the blue team is anything like our varsity team, they should be incredible to watch, and I honestly think we're going to see some great Valorant gameplay tonight, one way or another, because, I mean, even if you aren't going up against some of the stronger teams, you don't go undefeated for no reason. You got to be at least somewhat of a good caliber in order to get to that degree.
Another shout out to the Twitch chat. Looks like we got some people ready to cheer on the Broncos, all the way from different states too, including Cali. Thank you for joining us. We hope the Broncos put on a good performance to match the anticipation. It looks like, okay, that was a hand rub that was like, let's get to this. Let's go. We're ready.
Let's go.
I'm going to interpret it that way.
All right, let's get her done. Get into some Valorant gameplay. But yeah, I think everybody's sort of itching with anticipation here. I mean, we all love to see a split, and I think our players are really excited to see it too. I doubt anyone's really practiced on it a whole lot. But I mean, we also have never seen these guys play. It might be the pick that they need to use.
Also, another shout out is that we've got our good luck charm here. If you've been with us for the regular varsity matches, normally it's been this has been on top of Sky's computer here, this little penguin here. But we've brought him up to the desk here since Skies isn't here. We'll make sure he's still here to give the Broncos some good vibes.
Yes, this is Pico the Penguin, as named by our support player in Overwatch, Daydream. And excuse me if I accidentally call him El Pinguino, because that was his placeholder name before finally deciding on Pico. But, you know, I kind of like the Pico name a little bit more. Pico the Penguin. It's still got that Spanish name to go along with his very fantastic sombrero.
It's just making me hungry. I'm thinking of Pico de Gallo right
now.
now.
That's pretty. Pico de Gallo is slept on as like a topping. Honestly, I went to Applebee's the other day.
Yeah.
And they have this quesadilla hamburger. And they put pico de gallo on top of like a hamburger patty.
Yeah.
And it was way better than what you'd expect. And I'm not one of those people who genuinely enjoys like chunks of tomato.
Yeah.
But if you're going to Applebee's.
Also, since we're just sharing random topping information, pico salsa, as a way, is not a sauce. It's a spread. A dipping sauce will hold its shape, and if you turn the chip around, but not so with salsa. Everything is going to fall out, so it's a spread, not a sauce.
But, you know, just like toppings,
or
depending
a dip.
on...
I'm sorry, a dip. A spread, not a dip.
Okay. Well, but speaking of toppings, the characters that are going to be run by this team are going to really be the topping of this team. Are they going to add a little bit of spice? Are they going to add a little bit of
Actually, it
sweet?
Looks like maybe that first Sage pick was just meant to throw us off a little bit, because everything is looking pretty darn meta here from what I can see. The Tejo combination with the Breach, and then the Deadlock, which the varsity squad has really favored in Valorant.
And we're almost going to see a mirror matchup, swapping out the Deadlock for Clove, and yeah, just the Deadlock for the Clove from both sides. I thought I saw another one there, but Wichita has yet to lock in. So
we've also seen teams do this. Some teams just forego the Sentinel role entirely so that they can get another controller, i.e. Clove, into the mix here. That would be a lot of site denial for Boise State. I mean, you could basically smoke off if you're trying to claim a site, you could smoke off every single entrance point if you really wanted to for the Shockers, if you just kind of wanted to rush on in.
Yeah, but then if you rushed in from an angle that they weren't expecting, you don't have the, like, for example, you don't have the area denial that Deadlock brings, or a turret from KJ to let people know. It all just comes down to personal preference and how these players decide to go around it. But we're just going to have to see how this shakes out. Going into round 1, best of 25 going into this Valorant game.
That's one heck of a way to put,
hey,
a Valorant match.
A Valorant game is first to 13. Oh, wait, no, wait. That is best of 25. I'm not going crazy.
Yeah, I just have never heard a Valorant game said that way. I mean, the best of that we really have to think of here is best of 3, because we have 3 possible rounds. Whoever wins 2 rounds first will get the title. So off we go, down to an old friend that we haven't seen in quite a long time, a Fracture, as everyone loads on in. It's going to put a lot of pressure on Boise State Sentinel, since they did choose to stick with the Sentinel for him to perform.
That is true.
I do believe it was a chamber.
I believe so.
Oh, no, it was the Deadlock.
No, it was the Deadlock, yeah.
What am I even talking
and
about?
since they are on
Deadlock,
and since they are on defense first, having that Sentinel pick might just be what they need in order to sort of get the ball rolling.
I
going
just
into
like
this pistol round.
watching chamber players pop off so much. I know he isn't as good as he used to be, but I always have a soft spot in my heart for him. Meanwhile, Boise State already starting off with an explosive pistol round all the way back on bench. And they have surrounded the spike, too. That is so good.
An explosive pistol round indeed, because Rays actually got into the action from Boise State, taking out Wichita's as well. And Royals is going to pick up a orb in order to catapult that ultimate going up as well, which Rays ultimate really, really slept on, especially when in combination with the blast packs. You can cover so much ground so quickly, and then you pretty much have an instant death to anybody who's in the general area. But it does look like Kiyagi is going to be setting up, almost knows exactly where Wichita State is. I don't think he knows that, though. Koz is going to do a little bit of peeking, and Raze is going to get the grenade out, but Cam's going to get the first pick of this fight onto Kiyagi. Sui trying to get around that box, smoked off by the Breach. Clove throws out another smoke, and we're just going to have to wait this one out.
30 seconds left. Last player
Sui
standing.
manages to stay up, but Cams is going to go down to Moloton. Just one player left. It is only the Clove. Can they clutch up? They're going to get Moloton, but Kos is going to finish it off. Boise State wins the pistol round.
Very nice start for the Broncos.
And going back to Doc's keys to the game on this one, we saw it with Boise. They did lose a few different players going throughout that, but they just had such great mouse placement, crosshair placement. They were able to get picks where Wichita really struggled in that first fight especially. We saw them set up on that A site trying to do some sort of pinch maneuver, but in the end, it just didn't quite work out for them. And this round, we're going to see him switch it up a little bit. We do have the Deadlock anchoring down the A site, but the majority of Boise looks to be rushing down the B site corridor, looking to catch Wichita off guard, and they're going to catch Thiessen. There goes the Duelist, and a lot of damage potential out of Wichita.
Now Wichita just having to hang on back, and oh, nice way to bring it back. Sui finding the headshot onto Crimson. Oftentimes, it's a game of margins of how much you win this second round. So Boise State, they don't want to lose too many more. I'd say you can usually lose 2
right there
in kind of your advantage round and still be all right. But any more than that, then Boise State's going to have a credit problem.
Yeah, then you have to enter those bonus phases, and then it kind of wrecks your economy just a little bit. But at the same time, it makes Wichita able to just get farther with those credits they get from getting kills. But it looks like Kiyaki and Kos are both going to pinch in, and Cams and Zenith are going to fall. Bullseye quick to follow. Kos with the 4K, almost an ace too.
Yeah, I got to look at the positioning of this from Kos's perspective, because if you look at where he's all lined up, it really comes down to, okay, he's got the cross angle, and he basically just diverts all the attention away from Wichita State. It was one shot out from him, and they all turn in his direction, and he, with an angle as long as that, he just let the Guardian speak for itself.
Yeah, and I feel like Kiyagi also had a really big part to play in that, anchoring down on that left side. They all thought he was the one shooting at him, but no, it was the breach from a long ways away that you didn't see. Kind of like a peekaboo shot you in the face sort of situation.
Early rope use by the Shockers just to see if they can't spot anything from Boise State's side. As they move on up to B, aren't going to have to trade too much to gain possession of it. The spike will go down pretty darn fast as Boise State now has to start using some of that util they built up. And nice crosshair placement by Thiessen, giving a rude hello to Kos. We'll see if the remaining 4 can do anything.
Yeah, the core of Boise State is going to be moving right into that breach charge, and it catches a few of them. Zenith and Thiessen both finding characters, and it looks like that Meloton is going to go down as well, putting Wichita State on the board.
Not the worst performance, though, by the Broncos. You're not necessarily favored to win the bonus, so at least taking one of the Shockers off the field will put somewhat of a dent in their credits. One of his teammates is going to have to buy his gun for him. Looks like that will be Thiessen chipping on in. This is the one the Broncos have to win, and it's been a long time since I've seen a team go with this many Phantoms. Personally, as a Phantom enjoyer, I like what I'm seeing from the Broncos. I just hope it makes them win. Whatever makes them win, I'm fine with.
Yeah, it all comes down to what you're most comfortable with, but I will say that Wichita does have a slight advantage moving into this one just based off of shields. Boise State had to settle for a few light and regen shields, while Wichita only needed 1 regen in order to keep this one going.
Thing is, though, with Wichita State having mostly Vandals, it's not going to make as much of a difference as it would for Boise State, who has a lot more Phantoms.
That is true. Royals looking to rotate around, trying to get something through the smoke with Breach, with Kos on the Breach. Nothing really coming through. Lots of shots exchanged, though. Only thing really found was Wichita's Breach taking a little bit of damage in the process, but the Tejo drone is coming out of Wichita looking for Kiyagi and doesn't find him.
Also got a lurk going on through A, and Wichita State might decide that that is the best backup route. Going to have to just see if Boise State's Tejo can intercept this lurker who's gaining a whole lot of ground. The best thing for them is that... Oh, there you go. That'll put a damper on it. Boise State, it still looks like they have to rotate on over to take on Wichita.
It's always kind of funny to watch the lurkers because they have no idea they're walking into a trap, and then it's just bang, 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 and then they're dead. But trying to attack this site in particular, this A site, with the heaven and the hell portions, it makes it a little bit harder. But Meloton isn't even going to listen to that and take out Zenith in the process. Loyals goes down, but Kos quick to return it onto Thiessen. Both duelists down. Bullseye going to take one out, but Cams is quick to return it for his friend. And Meloton is going to finish it out. And Boise has plenty of time to defuse this spike. Boise State winning the rifle round with only 2 casualties.
And they are going absolutely ballistic up on the stage as well, enjoying every moment of their stage debut. Boise State now up to a 3-1 lead, but I have seen plenty of leads like this fall by the wayside. It's a long game Valorant, but man, just take a moment to admire that clean crosshair placement by Boise State, allowing them that first pick. Thiessen not going to be able to afford a full rifle. Will have to bring out the Judge instead. So Boise State take a bit of caution of pushing up too far against the Shockers.
And you know, I feel like Raze can really get away with the shotgun pick because where you lack a lot of range, Raze makes up for in mobility. Sure, you do take some damage from your blast packs, but at the same time, you can move so far, so fast that it almost doesn't matter. It does look like he's going to be coming out with the rocket fuse, looking for somebody on the site, but Boise State is just not there.
Showstopper doesn't quite get anybody, but they get stunned in return. It'll give a bit of time for Boise State to move back into post-plant position. They weren't able to get a free pick. We also see Wichita State's Clove way up high, trying to maybe get a potential, try to catch any flankers, but all the Broncos are pushing through the main route. And throw out a bot around the corner, see if they can't find anyone, and Zenith will take them out from long range. They'll use the orbital strike, and maybe that does bring it back, actually. Boise State, 2-3. It's not undoable, but Koss is going to have to bring it back with just one. And no, Thiessen, very nice transfer on the Frenzy to secure the round for the Shockers.
You know, it's like they say, switching to your pistol is always faster than reloading.
Some of the best players will surprise you with how accurate they can be on those picks. Now, this worries me a little bit here because we are okay. Phew.
Yeah.
Okay, we were seeing one kind of a rifle pick, but good on Boise State's team to kind of get him on the same page. Note, this is a save round. We need to cleanly save here. We'll be ready to fight him next round, or if things go our way, maybe even a thrifty. But Koss is the main one who's popping up. He's already up to 10-2, just 5 rounds in. Starting it out, Royals is going to be stunned right off of his satchel. Going to try to go all the way up into bench, but won't find anyone quite there. As Wichita State has retreated across the ropes and is ready to take the same basic route they took last time on A. A few going through the door, still Stu going through main.
Slowly pushing up towards A. Thiessen is not going to find anybody, but that smoke is going to force Malotin back before he can find anything himself. Boise State lacking in ultimates compared to Wichita. They have quite a bit more to work with. Smokes keep coming out, and Boise State has to push through them if they want anything, but out comes the orbital ray, and it finds 3! Royals gets a pick, but Cam's with 4, looking for the ace this round, and it is just up to Coast to clutch it up, and that is a Cam's ace.
Youch. That one really hurts there. I mean,
we're seeing a lot of things really unexpected today.
I mean, they just knew where the Broncos were coming up through that ledge, so they just let the orbital strike rip, and Broncos didn't really have any movement abilities to get them out of the range, so that is a very clean win by Wichita State, but that was a save round for the Broncos. Another even Steven round coming up here with rifles, although Boise looks like Royals is just dragging as much, is the one hurting most for credits. He's having to settle for a small shield.
Oh man, what will he do with that small shield?
I mean, get the headshot first. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. It doesn't matter if you got small, regen, or heavy shields. Everybody dies in one shot if it's well placed. But I will say, having that little bit of extra health just in case you do get hit in the body, the crosshair placement isn't quite where the enemy team would want it, then it does come in handy every now and again.
Malotin just holding this angle. Boise State, the way they won their first 3 rounds was just holding angles like this and getting that one pick on the lurker. That would be bullseye here from Wichita State as the rest of the team go through the tunnel. Also got this Clove.
Yeah.
Look out here for in main, A main. Sui isn't going to quite fall for that. Baits out a few shots from Boise State, so they're both aware of each other's presence. And it looks like they'll just back off from that and commit to B for their push.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Thiessen is going to get stunned by Boise State. As they push in, out comes the boom bot from the Rays. Malotin isn't going to push it, but Bullseye is going to get the plant started. He gets stunned.
30 seconds left.
Doesn't quite get it out. But the showstopper doesn't do anything there.
No, yeah.
And Thiessen gets the pick as well.
Yeah, Boise State got a little bit too gun-ho off of their Rolling Thunder, and Wichita State just held their own Rolling Thunder in response, and all the Broncos got hit with it, which made any sort of advantage they got with their first ult go away.
Smoke.
Very nice play by Wichita State, just kind of staying in cool and ready to negate 2 ultimates with 1. That is a very big play in round 6. Thiessen will be able to take out Kayagi. Koss trying to bring it back. He is the top fragger for Boise State, but he will get rid. Okay, wait. Round is reset. Is he going to be aware of the presence? He's running out of time, though. This is very dicey. Maybe he can get half off of this off the defuse as he's ready to dodge. That's a nice dodge on the blind. Should have just stuck. Oh, wow. Should have just stuck.
But he did take out everybody, though.
He did.
That's going to be a lot of money to reset all those guns, but it is going to end up in a loss for Boise. If he just would have used that Molotov just a second earlier.
Looks like we also have a few cheers in the audience for Wichita State as well, including their official esports account. We're glad to have you here joining us. And Wichita State, for the first time, does go into the lead, so starting to put on a really good performance with Cams and Thiessen leading the charge. Boise State going to have to go on to another save round, and Koss is really just standing out above, head and shoulders above the rest of the team, and 15 now in his KDA.
Yeah, I think they should swap him off of the initiator pick and onto the duelist for how well he's just fragging out in a lot of these engagements. If he's not the first to die, he's taking a ton with him.
Oh.
But Royals is looking in the wrong direction. But Crimson manages to take out two, even though it back out.
What a collapse there by Boise State. It brings it back to 2 and 3. Still might be doable for the Broncos. Remember, on this save round, though, they just want to be focusing on taking away as many credits as they can from the Shockers, and 2 frags already is a really good start. We're going to try to find any sort of information they can past the smoke. Throw out a few mollies, maybe a stun here or there, but the Shockers look to be dodging both of those, so it might just be a waiting game of waiting for the smokes to die out, which they have. Can they do a quick flick? Oh! Oh, this is very
hard angle to hold, too, because you have the people on site shooting at you. You got the Clove coming up the zip line. Just not a whole lot you can do in that situation, but Boise State, thanks to that save round, is going to be going full buy. Not full shields, but fairly close.
We see also Boise State now moving on over to the Vandal side of the field. They'll have even ultimates for Boise State. Both of them have an Armageddon. They haven't, Wichita State is not dead yet, whereas Boise State has that orbital strike. Off we go. Boise State seems pretty evenly split now between B and A. They started out really favoring B and just kind of lurking towards A, but that's become a more active site as this game has gone on. Wichita State, though, not going to get too carried away leading by 2. They're going to try to feel this out. They realize the Broncos have the rifles now, so everyone is just looking for that little bit of information, that first frag, to give them the go-ahead.
Yeah, Sui trying to advance forward a little bit, but luckily Clove has a lot of utility to keep themselves alive in these scenarios. You have a ton of smokes, you have the decay, and the ability to heal yourself for just a little bit after kill. Crimson going to be the one anchoring site, but the smoke comes through, halting Wichita's advance. Oh! Coast and Crimson are both going to find one. Zenith is going to take down Crimson, but Sui is also going to fall to Coast before he falls himself. Although the I believe, yeah, run it back comes out from Clove, though. So they need to find a kill really quick, or they are not going to be long for this world, and they're not. Royals is going to take him out. Boise State has the man advantage, but can they sneak past a Breach and Tejo?
Salvo sent out. He picks out Melaton. Now it's just one-on-one. Boise State having the health advantage and landing the shot against Zenith. Boise State will be able to bring this back to within 1.
The health advantage didn't quite matter because Royals didn't take any damage in that exchange. That's the unfortunate thing with Valorant. You look one way and the enemy comes from the other, and it's just a 1-2 punch to the teeth.
But even though Boise State won, they're still going to have credit problems. They lost 4 players, and just 1 victory might not be enough for them to go full rifles again. Wichita State, yeah, they're going to have to go into this round saving, but in a slightly better position than the Broncos are.
Yeah, a little bit of an eco round for the Broncos, and almost a full buy from Wichita, just a stinger with Thiessen, which I'm honestly a little bit surprised about. I'm surprised he didn't take the shotgun. I mean, he did have a little bit of success with that going in, I believe it was the 3rd round. It was either the 3rd or the 4th round.
Ooh, starting out with a showstopper, and the satchel's in. Boise State's going to move on back, make sure that showstopper can't find it. What a pick by Royals up in tower. Lands the headshot, and he's got another great transfer. He cannot get Tejo, but he's already traded 2 for 1. Great start. Melaton also gets rid of Thiessen, so now there's just 2 Shockers having a bit of trouble planting the spike because Boise State's throwing out all of this disruptive util onto them. Now they're trapped up in tower. Can they get out?
Plus the pick on the guy trying to get an ultimate orb as well. That's going to set them back 1 in the ultimate gain as well. Clove looking to make a play into here, but they just can't get through that very easy. BSU Crimson is going to get suppressed, though. So it'll be interesting to see how Wichita plays this. You are at a 2-to-1 man advantage, and it looks like Kiyagi is looking for his pick. or not on his pick, just looking down this angle. The spike is going to be planted, but even more utility is coming out. Out comes the orbital ray. Doesn't find as much success though.
Last player
Goes on a tear, getting a triple. And a quad. Boise State falls like lemmings, and Wichita State brings back a round that didn't look too good for them, but sometimes you just need that one player who pops off to. And this might have also been a little bit of odd positioning by Boise State that kind of stacked everyone up in this same lane, which meant very little adjustments for Sui to make in order to clean the whole team.
Yeah, what a clutch out of Sui, though. 4 kills in a short amount of time, keeping yourself up through that as well. It's going to force Boise State pretty much right back to yet another pistol round. It seems like every time they get up to rifles, it's taken right away. Royals looks to find a pick, and he does onto Gams. Gets stunned, but out comes the showstopper, and he's picked before he can use it. Coast goes down as well, and Kiyagi soon to follow. It is just deadlock and Tejo left for Boise State in the reverse of what happened to Wichita last round.
Thiessen has been able to claim tower, and this will be a pretty safe plant for the Shockers to make. Good news is for Melaton, his some fallen teammates, he has been able to pick up a vandal. Crimson gets one. They can get on up to Arcade. That will be another free gun for them to pick up.
No escape.
Boise State moved out of tries to transfer, doesn't get the shot. That's just up to one. Sui lands the headshot, taking out Crimson. But again, the thing that I kind of like about Boise State, at least so far, is they're making sure that no matter what the circumstances, they're at least taking 2 or 3 off from Wichita State, and that's being enough of a credit drain that they aren't too far. You know, they're not in like 6,000 and up. Sui is the one who's leading because, of course, he's been popping off the most with 5,200. But Boise State making sure that Wichita State should the Broncos win one round here. This will be a pretty decent first half for them to start out with, 5-7.
Yeah, and if there's any time to use all your utility, it is right now. That all goes away after this round. Thiessen looking to make a play, but gets slowed by the deadlock. A lot of the smokes do come out. Sui looking to push through, but Melaton is going to find the lurker. Thiessen goes down early.
Oh, and he's lining up a possible Armageddon here. Off your feet! Boise State brings it on out in that hallway. Can any of them get away? Crimson will get a pick onto Sui, and I'd say that's a pretty hefty target. Nice prize, and Boise State could get another free elimination here with this annihilation. The only thing Wichita State having is this orbital strike, so the Broncos need to be careful with their positioning. They've fallen victim to it before, and the annihilation is brought right out onto that brim to take that orbital strike right out of the equation. Crimson and Melaton clutching it for the Broncos. They're only within 2 at the half.
You know, if you're going to be within any number, you'd want it to be even or winning. But if you're going to be behind, you might as well only be behind by 2. That is a great way to end off this round for the Broncos. Just being able to use everything you got. And to take the orbital strike off the table as well, that was one of the best exchanges that you could have asked for in there.
Costs now up to 17. I mean, if this is the halftime, he's well on track for getting above 30 in his KDA. Whereas Wichita State, they're a lot more evenly spread out, and this kind of becomes a lopsided game of if they take out Costs as their first frag, Shockers are looking very good to win that round. Whereas Boise State doesn't really know, there isn't really a prime target here. Any one of them, they have a healthy KDA, so any one of them could pop off.
Yeah, it's the issue of kind of having that one carry, so to say. You take him out, and then a lot of the team tends to fall very quickly, but we might see a little bit of a different play style going into attack for Boise State. You never know. Royals is on track to start popping off. We saw it a little bit, but the stun comes out. Sui gets caught out, and Melaton is going to find the first pick.
Bronco better be careful here in Arcade because the flank is coming through from Thiessen, and the Broncos aren't even looking. They look at just the wrong moment to see their death, and now it will be even 4 apiece. Mike Rand has been claimed in tower. Might take a risky peek out, sees a little too many, and the paint shells won't pick up anybody, but he's just got to be happy he gets away with his life there.
Hey, the paint shells don't have to get anybody as long as they keep people away. That is a win, but Royals caught out by two. Kisayagi went down, but with two from Royals, that evened it out really quick. Crimson finding Zenith as well, and it is just Bullseye to try and contest these three. We've seen one player pop off before, but does Bullseye have it in him?
He fakes the defuse, moves back on in under the cover of some smoke, but time is running out for him. Royals goes on up and shoots him from atop the crate. Royals, every single kill he got that round was with the right click too.
Yeah, classic Raze gameplay. You pretty much just run around the map like a lunatic, and then you find kills where nobody would expect you to be, and honestly where you have no right to be in a game where you can't even jump. So it is incredible to see such good Raze gameplay coming out.
Ooh, and one Ares, I always like seeing the machine guns brought out, and Crimson is fancying himself that pick.
Crimson.
Now Royals getting into the double-digit club on his KDA. Start things off. Wichita State is going to be just slowly pushing on into the spawn, getting up as close as they can to this smoke, maybe to punish Boise for a bit of overaggression. But the Broncos are playing this nice and cool. They're waiting too.
Yeah, this map sort of turns into a little bit of a waiting game. Who's going to push out first? Who's going to get the first pick? And it looks like Sui does have an angle onto Coast, and he misses. Gives him a nice haircut. Although I will say Coast is pretty well groomed, so I'm not sure how good it does. But Cams is going to find two, Melody and Crimson. And it looks like Kisayagi is not going to be able to pick him off as well. Sui finding another pick, and now the spawns have been reversed. It is both Boise State members in one spot. Coast is going to pick off Sui, but not before Royals, unfortunately, meets his match.
Now all the guns now go over to Wichita State. That was beautiful coordination between their breach and the rest of the team. Swing on out. Oh, Hosto with the prediction there. Lands one with the Guardian. Making lemonade out of lemons, I suppose.
30 seconds left.
Smoke's down.
1v3. See how many you can take out in such a short amount of time, but pushing into smoke is never fun. But using it to his advantage a little bit is not going to work when you have three people surrounding you. Yeah. Getting a thrifty, Wichita State manages to pull themselves ahead 8-6.
Hardly any scenarios where you can get out of that one alive. He just didn't have the time. All psych is completely gone. And now a whole bunch of free guns get pushed on over to Wichita State, who should be able to win this next round and get themselves a nice, comfortable lead at this point. 3 ahead. So let's just see if the Shockers can pull it off, as once again they're still maintaining their pretty darn even KDAs across the whole team. Boise State is starting to level out though. Meliton and Royals have kind of come into their own, at least in the second half.
It does look like it's not going to be a full buy out of Wichita State, opting for the Ares, and I believe that was a SMG as well.
Those were all guns they picked up from Boise State.
That is true.
And Boise State is almost assuredly going to have pistol rounds here, so you might as well take the free round while you can. Just more credits for the Shockers.
You do bring up a great point there, especially with how many angles are being held by assault rifles from teammates who may not have picked up the greatest guns. Crimson is going to have to back off just a little bit, but you still have Thiessen rotating around, being a overall in something that you can't count out, and paint shells do come out as well. Meliton trying to look for someone else, but Thiessen's going to find two. One wall bang, he's going to find 3. Getting 4 kills in this round alone.
That was just a rough proposition there, them choosing that route, especially after they saw Thiessen was positioned there. He was so far away he could just let the rifle do its work. And yeah, I don't know if the Broncos probably didn't have time to choose another route, but that was just a very unfortunate one for them to choose, since I didn't really see them winning that in any circumstance.
Although, I will say, this is the first time in a while we've seen Boise State not only with full rifles, but full shield as well, going into a completely even round. I think this is the first fully even round we've seen in this matchup so far. Royals, good concussion packs, is going to find one, but he's quickly picked off as well. Bullseye finding one on Coast, and Thiessen is still sitting there. Meliton quick to go down as well, and so does Kisayagi, meeting his end, and Crimson soon to follow to the Sui lurk. Boise State doesn't manage to win that one. Wichita sending them right back to pistols.
Yeah, they go into that one with just a little bit too much confidence, and their first player finds himself on the bad end of a double peak. sets up the Broncos. I mean, he did manage to trade out, but from then on out, Wichita State just always made sure that they were fighting with the numbers advantage against the Broncos. So now Boise State has to go back to another save round. Just a few sheriffs, a frenzy, a judge, and some prayers for a little bit of better gameplay. But Wichita State barreling down on this 13-point marker to close it out.
Vandal, oh my goodness,
Spike
Sui
down, B.
with the immediate pick onto Kisayagi. That was a bit of whiplash.
So clean on this aim and these adjustments. He just needs a millisecond, and he has them locked on in.
Launching smoke.
He's also now built up.
Last player
Not
standing.
dead yet, not that they really need it. Thiessen and Zenith coming in. Thiessen gets a double himself with some clean headshots, and it'll be another round fallen by the wayside for the Broncos as Wichita State now barreling towards victory. Thiessen gets up to 20 and has eclipsed Koss, who got off to such a good start in his KDA, but now Wichita State has all the momentum.
Yeah, they started to realize who the big threat was on this Boise State team, and Koss has been the first to die in a lot of these engagements. Or Koss, I just got informed. It is Koss and not Koss. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays around it too. Royals is starting to get up there in the kill count as well. Both raises are actually really getting into this one. The stun comes out, Thiessen goes down, or doesn't go down, but he does get stunned. Koss looking to take this angle, not finding anybody, but he is going to have to be a little bit careful because the entirety of Wichita State is stacked up on this point.
Very hard to move in this route. The other defenders have the high ground advantage. Melton and Koss managed to find one. Not dead yet, brought out by Sui. Needs to go and find an elimination onto the Broncos, which might force a peek out through the smoke. Thiessen lands pick against Koss. Now Boise State, now with just 2. But maybe enough time to make their way over to attackers because Wichita State is making their way over to A, because Wichita State is still sticking on. They're going to wait for this ult orb, and yeah, this is a free site given on over to the Broncos.
Yeah, and after this one, they'll have 3 ults in their back pocket to use. Nobody is on the site from Wichita, and that is going to be a free plan for Boise State.
Still a long way to go. They've got the barrier mesh out through that main doorway, but that just means the Wichita State can move on to rope. I mean, they got so many ways. One move from Dish. Cams eliminated. Great headshot by Melton. Now just 2-3. And Melton manages to even it up 2-piece. But Kayagi does manage to get...
Oh, but behind you.
Last player
Behind you, no! He turned around at the perfect time for Thiessen to show up. Like the boogeyman, he always finds his way through.
And that's one moment also where team communication would have come in handy because his teammate was in the position to check that one angle. It's just a case of Hira saying that angle's clear, and then you keep on looking at the one angle where they're most likely to push through, but...
or, you know, just keep looking in the direction you were in and not looking backwards, because you had 2 players that were looking both ways, but unfortunately the car still came through.
It's just the age-old Valorant problem of you're holding an angle and then you choose to look away just 1 second too early.
Or they come from the one place you're not looking.
No, he was looking there. I mean, he had the angle down. He would have had a good chance of picking up that play from Thiessen, but it's just he looked away. Stocks got the better of him, and
But the
often
annihilation.
It's your first instinct will be the best. Boise State has a few ultimates to try to bring this back. They're able to claim tower very quickly. So they'll get the high ground advantage, take it away from Wichita State. Very fast play by the Broncos, and they've got 2 really good ultimates now to make that 3. They just got to dodge this showstopper. Crimson lands against Thiessen. 4 ultimates now for the Broncos. Rolling Thunder sent on back, slams into Arcade. They're going to try to follow up on it with the showstopper. Oh, yeah, they're just going to move on back. That's going to be one that falls by the wayside.
Yeah, with no blast packs, it really makes the lethality of the showstopper a little bit less. But Cams is going to find Royals out on the flank, but that clock is ticking down. Kisayagi goes down. Zenith trying to stick the plant, but the orbital rays, both orbital rays come out, and I don't think Wichita has the time.
Nope.
Logan's going to go down, but they got it with 2.23 seconds left to go. And that is going to be a round win for Wichita.
Yeah, it seems also one of the things I'm noticing is sometimes on the ults there's just a little bit too much confidence in the ult hitting to make that translate into, like, okay, let me rephrase here. The Broncos seem to be kind of the mindset, or going in with the mindset, that if one of these ults, say the Rolling Thunder, hits, that leads to an elimination, then they instantly follow up with that. But it's very dependent on where that Rolling Thunder hits and in what circumstances. A lot of times it can be used to, delay it once. What a lot of teams do in the post plan is kind of back off and then allow the other team to kind of go in and defuse the spike, because then you know for sure where the other team's going to be. The Rolling Thunder comes in, they're there where you want them. But Boise State used it as Wichita State was trying to retake the point. And from there were just so many hallways that they could back up on. And you kind of saw Boise State was in, okay, we got to hit with the Rolling Thunder. Now we follow up with the showstopper to get the elimination. Wait, they're all gone. It's very dependent on in what situation you use these ultimates, whether that leads to a kill or not. And Boise State just seemed to be a little bit too overconfident of, if we get that first hit, then we'll get the round.
Yeah, not to mention sometimes it comes down to who gets caught in it as well. You take out some of their star players, you get some of their star players caught in that Rolling Thunder, and that could easily be a few eliminations onto some of the weaker members of the squad. However, when you hit the Sentinel, who's in the back line, and the two duelists are somewhere, we still have no idea where they are, then you swing out and you leave yourself open to you just leave yourself open to a lot of different players that are taking these angles and, like you said, have backed off into different corridors that you may not expect them to, and unfortunately not having your utility to use in addition to those is another thing I felt that Broncos sort of lacked.
Well, it seems the team has taken a little bit of a step off the stage for a quick break, and I think that's in order for us too. Between these couple of rounds, we'll take a quick couple-minute break and then be back with round two. So get yourself some snacks, some drinks, and then come on back. We'll see if Broncos can bring it back against Wichita State after this.
Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Home is where you hang your hat, snuggle up, hide out. Home is when you're with the ones you love. It isn't just a place, it's a state of mind. At Idaho Central Credit Union, our home is Idaho. We grew up here, and we're proud to help more Idahoans with their home loan than any other financial institution. Idaho Central Credit Union. We believe home is where you make it.
Scott Matlock, underrated recruit, has built himself into one of the best defensive players in the Mountain West.
What would you do if you couldn't fail? Would you see every setback as a catalyst to keep going? This is the innovator's mindset, because innovation demands daring. is finding thousands of ways that don't work, and the one that changes everything. It's when your unrelenting spirit sees the world's needs and says, I will create something better. So, what will you do? Will you let your genius run wild? Give yourself the space to be great? Set your sights on something even bigger, because we know changing the world doesn't happen by chance. It comes out of the blue.
At Blue Ribbon Painting, we're proud to be a locally family-owned and operated business dedicated to bringing your vision to life. Whether it's freshening up your home with interior or exterior painting or tackling a commercial project, we've got you covered. When you choose Blue Ribbon Painting, you're not just hiring painters. You're getting a team that's committed to making your vision a reality. Call or text us at 208-369-2583 or visit us at blueribbonpainting.net. Your project deserves a blue ribbon finish.
Welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena. We're currently in the middle of a CECC Valorant matchup between the Boise State Valorant Blue Squad and the Wichita State Shockers. Wichita State getting the first win in Fracture. So now the Broncos are going to have to try to bring things back. Moving on to Ascent. Now, I want to lay something out. Me being the host, Jacob Palmer, to my co-host, Bryce Jensen. Here's the thing. You mentioned a little bit of the Fracture, map we haven't seen a lot because it is kind of, it's a little bit unbalanced.
It's quirky.
It's quirky, that's a good word for it. But now it's time for no excuses. Not only because the Broncos need to win this particular round to stay in it, but on this particular stage, Ascent, there are no excuses on Ascent is what I want to say. It's the stage, one of the stages that has been in there the longest, the poster child for a Valorant. It just simply comes down to a question of which team is better on this stage. You can't really say it's attackers or defenders' advantage. Everyone knows the strats. Everyone knows the lineups. Everyone knows the picks. It just comes on down to the mechanics and how each of the teams pull them off better.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Ascent is the day one Valorant map. Everybody knows it. It's what all these teams have practiced so much on. And I think it's arguably the map that we have seen the most out of any other map this season. And, there are a lot of more aesthetically pleasing maps. There's a lot more unique maps out there. I'm just going to name Lotus, for example, because I really like the aesthetic of Lotus. But we see Ascent so much, and it's such a fundamentally important map to understand because all of Valorant's real core mechanics come into it, and it requires a really high understanding of all those core mechanics. And it does look like we're going to be seeing a little bit of typical Ascent play with the KO and Jet coming out with a little bit of Cypher from the side of Boise State.
Been a while since we saw KJ as well. We did see recently just kind of that balance change to help make KJ's ultimate just a little bit more valuable. It wouldn't just be taken out instantly every single time. So they've been trying to give her a little bit more room. And traditional Sentinel pick for Ascent has always been the KJ.
Yeah, honestly, we've seen a little bit of Cypher. Not as much as the Killjoy, but the Cypher is also a pretty good pick on this map. You have a lot of places where you can throw your tripwires. Your camera has a lot of spots where it is really good to get a lot of information. There's lineups onto, I believe it's, onto B site. A site is also really good to have if you are on the defending side. You can see how many people are coming through with the defense of a very sturdy wall right next to you that you can't be wall banged through. But it does look like final picks are going through. Tayson on the side of Wichita is actually going to be playing it a little bit different with the Yoru. But we're going to have to see how that plays out. Not very normal picks on a very common map. Moving into map 2, what could potentially be the final round. or the start of a Boise State comeback. Welcome to Ascent.
Well, the one thing we didn't see on Fracture really at all that I can guarantee we'll see just a little bit of, if not a little bit, then a whole lot more of, is the sniping. Just this mid-area so ripe for a pick from the operator. And of course, Boise State going on to the Jet, just the classic poster child of being an op agent and Valorant in general. And Wichita State also bringing out the Jet, but interesting that the Shockers went double duelist. They're placing a lot of confidence, I think, because Sui and Thiessen did so good last round. They're saying to him, hey, you know, let's go double duelist. We know you two can get those eliminations. Just start piling them up for us.
Koss back on the initiator, playing the Omen this time around. Having a little bit more smokes to work with, a little bit more offensive utility with the teleport as well, being able to get behind people. Not really easily, but able to stay behind them and be really spooky, which kind of fits with the character and all.
Look at this charge up toward mid-market here. Koss throws out the paranoia, but he finds himself blinded as well and doesn't catch the side angle from Sui, who is just moving like a rocket toward the point. Kaigi gets hit with the stun. Thiessen lands it on Meliton. Royals tries to bring it back, picks off Sui. Kaigi also gets bullseye. Now we're dead even again, and a slight health advantage toward the Broncos as well.
Spike is going to go down though. Zenith holding this angle as the Killjoy opted away from the utility in favor of a Sheriff, which might be the better pick for Killjoy. You want to play it a little bit farther away. Moving to the boxes, trying to get through here, but their location is going to be revealed. That wall, you can't shoot through it, but nothing is found. Royal is going to push through. He's going to find Zenith. Goes down, but Cams is able to, or Cams goes down as well to Crimson. It is a 2v1. Yoru is the final member of Wichita left alive, and he's going to go down. Boise State, with a mirror of last round, going to be taking the first round of this game.
Yep, that's the one constant that has been true for the Broncos. The pistol rounds have been their strong suit.
Yeah, being able to win in the pistol round is probably one of the best skills that you can have as a team in this game, being super consistent in arguably the hardest round in the game.
It is, well, not just the hardest, but it's the one that if you win it, you're almost guaranteed to trade 2 for 1 for winning that. However, that wasn't the case here, but okay, we can see already. I like this. The Outlaws being brought out. Royals already has eliminations on his mind. He's positioned himself up near A short as well, is counting on maybe just a little bit too much of a gun-ho peek from the Shockers going up A, but A is not where they're playing right now. They're playing mid like they did last time.
I mean, with 2 DPS, it is, or 2 duelists, it is a fair assumption that they would be taking those really offensive plays. It does look like Killjoy is going to be lurking, and Boise State Omen. Oh, Royals didn't see him.
Nope, but no.
Or wait, no, that was a clone.
Yeah, I was.
hey,
this is why.
That's how good the decoy is. It even fooled me.
This is why they're playing against
yep.
not us.
This is why I'm not. This is why I don't cast Valorant very often. But I get fooled by a lot of things. I have very low object.
Well, talking about things that are very low, Crimson is extremely low on health. Just kind of starts blasting on through the smoke. Oh, Zenith, that's a bit, yeah, and this is State, Boise State. I mean, they should be favored to win this with the better guns, but Wichita State has consistently found a way to outplay them on these thrifties.
And now that Sui has the Marshall, I mean, he is going to go down to Koss, but that's one really big pick. Meliton is going to find Cams as well. That is one more less smoke to their name, and looks like Zenith is going to go down as well. Boise State now has the man advantage, but can they push on in time? Meliton and Thiessen both traded with
last player standing.
But Koss is going to go down, trying to take the site. It is a 1v1.
Oh, Broncos have to hurry here. 10 health left, and basically,
one bullet away from death. Not a whole lot you can do there, and it does look like the Marshall is going to get saved. And I'd imagine that is Bullseye going to live up to his name? Is he going to hit the Bullseye with the Marshall?
I mean, well, the question, he doesn't even have to right now. They're just going to, in fact, they're not even going to bonus this. Wichita State is just eager to get up to all rifles. They're going to throw away the guns they got for free from Boise.
Well, they only got one. They only got the Marshall.
That is, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they probably would have taken more if Boise State didn't take out 4.
Yeah, that is a really good point. I mean, but it basically guarantees that they should be very favored to win this round. Boise State at best maybe go for 1 frag or 2. Sumi gets 1 with the Outlaw. Koss just trying to throw out some util beyond these walls, trying to claim some presence on mid, but he realizes he's out in the open, is going to move back to just a little bit more of a safer place.
Yeah, Koss looking to take this angle back. Thiessen is also right there, debating on whether to move forward. And it does look like the rest of Wichita is moving over towards that A site. Koss, though, holding this A garden, and Kisiyaki holding the rafters really well here. But can he see Thiessen down there? He does, but misses. Gives him a haircut. And once again, on a character that really didn't need a haircut.
Spike planted. Last player standing.
Crimson is the last one. Can he do it?
Just take after 1. That's the main thing that hope for.
Oh, and
nice
the flawless.
Crouch by bullseye. Interesting though, crouch peeking, not usually the best thing to do, but Wichita State feeling confident enough in their gun advantage that they'll bring that out. Now, if this is where the rubber meets the road for the Broncos, they have to start winning these rifle rounds. Just winning the pistol rounds every single match is not going to cut it.
No, you can only go so far with pistols, and unfortunately, I feel like Boise State found where that road ends for the pistol rounds. I will say, though, Koss is struggling a little bit more to get up there in this round, and Kisiyaki,
I mean, it's, yeah,
really getting started.
Shutting them down.
Knife
Suppression
thrown
knife.
out,
Ooh, it gets
and,
shot, though.
Yep, doesn't really find anybody, so they won't get the information on how many are pushing up through B. Do have a lot of Cypher util placed down on A, though, which is where Wichita State is fancying their push. A short, 2 lurkers in mid and B, just to keep those open as possibilities.
Boise State still holding in defender spawn for that B point, but it does look like
That's
Jet and Cypher.
That's the thing.
Pushing out.
They're holding so far back that they're not really getting any information on where Wichita State actually is. Well, now they'll get the information on where they are. They're pushing up A short. Doesn't take the bait on the decoy. Moves on back. Now it's going to try to move on to Gardens to catch the flank here coming through from Sui.
Oh, he flicked away. No.
Why?
He flicked to his head and then flicked the other way.
Spike planted.
And then Sui had the perfect lineup. Oh, Meliton is going to go down to Sui, taking 1 more with him, but Koss is going to find his 1 as well. Recon Bolt goes through and finds Kisiyaki, but unfortunately can't find anything through the wall. Now Boise State up on the Raptors. Koss goes down to Thiessen, holding that right side. And now it is up to the KO and the...
Last player standing.
It's pretty much up to KO, but just nothing quite came out of it. Cams with the 2 is going to take Wichita State up 1 more round.
And this is a problem they had on Fracture as well. I mean, not to pour salt in the wound, but they start out by taking the angle that you would expect. It's the angle that the other team's spawn is towards. It's one of the main routes into the point, and you're defending the point, trying to keep them from taking it. They hold that point for a few seconds, and then at the last moment, it's just maybe they think that, oh, Wichita State's got a very sneaky move on this one off angle. Maybe I check that, and it's right when they look away that Wichita State gets the headshot on them. It's just...
It's like you were saying earlier, that you got to practice a bit of patience, and Sui is going to find Royals as well, taking 1 Jet out of the equation. And the Marshall is out, though, but it's not going to matter when Thiessen puts a headshot right through KO's dome.
And as of course, these are students, so I know they've heard a lot of times from their teacher or professor when they're taking tests, your first instinct is usually the correct one. Don't try to second-guess yourself too much.
And Zenith taking out Crimson is going to put Boise State at an even farther loss. Wichita yet to lose a player in this round.
And this is one of the main differences between...
Oh,
the disrespect that's starting to come out. Sui going up because he wanted the knife there, I'm pretty sure. He tailwinded right up into his face. Oh, things are...
I mean,
really
luckily his team was there to back him up, because knife kills are really hard to get, but it does look like a timeout is going to be in store.
And I like the timing of it, too.
Yeah, this would be the time to take a timeout just a little bit, prevent a little bit of momentum from coming up. maybe discuss what might be going wrong with the strategy, and take a little bit of a breather, because Valorant games are a lot longer than a lot of other games that we cover, and it is a really big mental drain if you keep going, and let that snowball keep rolling.
Well, the Broncos also, I think this is good timing for Wichita State as well, though, because, I mean, you could see there from that tailwind right into the face that they're starting to get a little bit chippy, maybe a little bit overconfident, and that can come back and bite you right there. But the main thing is, like, Boise State seems just, it seems like they're being a little bit too cautious on their defense. Like, I understand not wanting to push out too far as your defender. You're waiting them for come to you. But I'm seeing so many times where they aren't even taking, you know, jump peeks or jiggle peeks out to get a sense of where they are in mid, where they are in B. They're holding themselves so far back that it's giving Wichita State basically 2/3 of this map to play with however they want.
Yeah, we've seen it a few times, especially on that B-side spawn. They either play from that high ground towards the middle or back in defender spawn as well.
And credit where it's due. A lot of that playstyle is because of Sui and how quick he is on his shots.
Yeah, but then a lot of the time Boise State can't find those shots as well, and then Royals goes down to Thiessen, leaving Wichita with an early player lead. Koss trying to find somebody on that angle, but nobody is pushing towards A. It does look like Wichita is actually going to B site this time. It'll be a real question.
Uh-oh,
Do I fall for the They did fall for it. Flicks right to the real one, and Kisiaki is going to find one on Sui. That is a really big player to take out of the game this early on.
Good start, but Wichita State has brought back rounds before. Don't get too overconfident is the main lesson here. They're going to keep him at bay with the swarm grenade. Oh, in Boathouse, though, Militant gets the view onto Wichita State and manages to find one. Is caught in the reload and will only be able to trade 1-for-1. So it is 3-2 Broncos slight advantage.
Spike planted.
And they are going to have a good engage ultimate for this. The command null online.
Both owl drones came out at the same time, too. I thought that was a little funny. Flashbang comes out, and it does take out Cam's Koss with the well-placed headshot. And it is just Sova left against 3 players, and that is not a spot you want to be at. Kisiaki with the final kill, and Boise State is going to get their second round win.
Nice job for Boise State. Really pulling off the win. I mean, that's why you use the timeouts. They're a utility. Think of them as an ability to use, just like any other ability. And they used it at the time where you could definitely see that Wichita State was in landslide mentality. So pumping the brakes right then and there. Even the chat is kind of acknowledging that with kind of this double dive composition that's being brought out by Wichita State, it's a little bit toxic. Now, of course, depending on which side of the fence you're on, you either love it or hate it, but Wichita State definitely has come into this fight with a lot of confidence in themselves, and Boise State just needs to make sure that they play this as smart as they can. Still not out of their wheelhouse, only 2 behind.
Although with the Knife Storm out from Royals, he's not looking to get picked off super fast this time. Doing the jiggle peeks like you were talking about earlier.
Yep.
Not finding anything, though, coming to A site. It does look like with Sova on that B side hallway. Actually, no, he's rotating back towards mid. It might be an A site push after all. But with Valorant, you just never know until that spike carrier is on the point.
Enemy.
Kayagi throws out a knife, will get the hit on one, so he knows that the KJ is there for now. But the main push seems to be through mid-market, and Boise State is doing a much better job of peeking here. Storm's still online. Kayagi gets the pick onto Zenith. What a great start for the Broncos, but it's just a start. Plenty of rounds have been brought back by the Shockers, just like that. Thiessen gets a nice flank onto Royals, or excuse me, the lurk kill onto Royals, and Boise State has just not been reliable in holding down Garden. Another pick. So now, advantage. State make that an even bigger advantage. Cams lands the headshot onto Crimson. 2 left, make it 1 left, and Meliton not with too many options. He manages to pick out 1, which is the best he can do in that scenario. Wichita State, though, picks up the round overall, going up 5-2.
You know, sometimes that's all you can ask for. Getting rid of that flawless bonus is definitely the way to go in that scenario. And keeping them from getting that much more of a monetary gain on you in this economy is really important. And with Kisiyagi getting that first pick, that was also that was good for him, but not quite what they needed. And the run through the wall hole is going to bring us into round 8. Melaton is sitting in a real good spot. The flash comes out, but Zenith has the angle covered. Hunter's Fury's coming out of both sides, and Crimson is going to find Cams really early on. Yoru manages to get the Mimic out, but nothing comes out of it. Actually,
One enemy remaining.
Kisiyagi with 2 before going down to Sui. It is just Sui left on the point. It is another 1v3 scenario.
But you cannot disrespect Sui. He is the main man for Wichita State. Can they actually close it on out? Has the Blade Storm available, needs to pick up the spike and then actually decide he wants to plan, wants to try to get the elimination first. Koss just trying to hold the angle through. Oh, he lets him sneak by it, but might be able to see him here. Is the crosshair placement lined up? Oh, it almost is. And Koss doesn't take any bullets. That's going to make this even more of a tricky scenario.
Oh, it's a good shot, just not quite where he would want it. Both players are just sitting on that high ground. More shots being exchanged, nothing coming through. Sui finds Melaton. It is just Crimson left. Nice Storm comes out, and now all Sui has to do is land one good shot, and he clutches it. Sui with the 4K expands Wichita's lead to 6.
And very smart play on Sui's behalf as well, because the best way to overcome these sort of tempo disadvantages is to make every fight a one-on-one. And Sui, he could have picked up the spike and tried to plant it early, but that would have diverted all the attention to where he is. Boise State hears the sound cue. They know where he is. By playing this long, being able to take the route off through Garden, and then be able to flush one Bronco out from there, he's able to make sure that every fight he has are these duels, which skill-wise, he's showing he can win them.
Yeah, I didn't know that they added guerrilla warfare to Valorant, but must have been something in the new patch that they added.
And
but it does
use whatever you can to win.
It does look like Kiyagi is going to find 2 with the suppression dart. Knows that both Killjoy and Sova are in B hallway, but Sova with the spike, is he actually going to stick to it this time?
I'm sure that's the real Yoru. He's just really interested in checking out what the market has to offer.
Yeah, I mean, I hear they have really good sales on apples this time of year. And I mean, depending on who you ask, certain apples are better than others.
Cosmic Crisp all the way.
You know, I'm a partial to Honeycrisp, but Cosmic Crisp are pretty good as well.
Cosmic Crisp is basically related to Honeycrisp. It's a descendant of it.
Yeah.
Apple talk aside, Melaton almost gets a headshot on toward Bullseye, but it's just waiting for someone to peek out just a little bit too far, but Wichita State is very well coordinated. I have a feeling they'll probably, they go for the and
whiffs him by a hair, but Sui is not going to miss it like that. He's going to take out Royals. There goes the other jet. Thiessen
30 seconds left.
Looking for an engage, taking that corner, waiting for the Cypher to peek out. Kisiyagi is not going to find the pick, but Crimson is going to find Sui. Boise State only down 1 in the engagement, but Melaton knows where at least one player is. Thiessen is just waiting for someone to poke out, but Zenith is going to find Koss. Cams with the operator finds Melaton, and Zenith closing it out.
Now up to 7-2. The best Broncos can hope for is what they had in round 1, which would be a 7-5. They got to pull it off right now. And you're gonna like this one.
2 operators on the field.
Thing is, Royals has been the designated opper as the jet, of course, but has been the one with the lowest KDA and needs to turn that around now because the op is such a big investment to make.
Speaking of an investment in an operator, Cams is going to be the one with the operator on the side of Wichita. Not that you can't play an operator as Omen, but with so much mobility from Jet, you more expect that you'd have your Jet player on the op. But
I think Sui's proven that they can do enough on the Vandal from the past few rounds. They're fine with whatever weapon they have.
Oh, already Bullseye is already on the plan. Owl Drone comes out, seeing if they can pick someone out. Oh, but the Thiessen kills Royals, takes that operator out of play. What a pick out of Wichita.
Now they're left with just trying to wallbang, or I mean, you gotta think, you got a number of rounds before you. Maybe it's best that you just try to count this one and maybe just save. There's only 2
Last
left.
player
I
standing.
wouldn't have taken it there. I would have called a save right there because they're going to lose this off as a result. Cost does the best he can, but he only gets 1 frag. And all those credits that Boise State saved up, going to be moving on. That is also one thing I've noticed with this Boise State squad is there have not been any rounds called as a save.
Yeah, it's just pretty much everything in. You're on the poker table, all your chips in, go big or go home. But unfortunately, that strategy only works a little bit of the time, and when it hurts bad.
Yep, they've been going all in, and Wichita State as the casino has just been keeping the lights on, as they say, just collecting every single time.
And they say the house always wins, and when you go that quick trying to find picks, most of the time the people you're going into are going to win that. But Marshall is going to be on Crimson this time.
I know you want to purchase some fruit, but you don't need to.
Dude, we know you have coupons, but we've told you they're expired, dude. This is a farmer's market. We don't accept coupons. How did you get those?
That's funny. That's funny. The decoy just runs for the fruit stand all the time and gets shoves his face in there. That's
He's
a
hungry.
funny visual. All right.
Oh, he hits him in the body. Oh, but Kisiaki's going to pick up the 2, and he gets 2E in the process too.
Picks up a free gun. Now Bullseye in Zenith, heading into Fish Market, throw out the knife. Does get the hit on both of them. That'll force the Omen TP out, and they'll just stick it on there on B. He can tell his team Boathouse is clear. You don't have to worry about the angle. They can focus everything up on mid-market and defender spawn.
And Jet making their way over, and
that is
unfortunately
filthy.
Kisiaki is going to go down.
Are you kidding me? Running with the op, peeks out around the corner, scopes it, and then instantly gets the hit. Okay, I see why Camps, they gave him the op. Yeah, ooh.
Ooh, that felt slimy. That was not very nice. Nobody is going to be taken out by the Killjoy, though, so that is a little bit better for Boise State. However, Cam's with the operator. He's going to go down. Melaton finds 2.
Okay, what was the main advice I was given to the Broncos beforehand that in this
standing.
case could very well apply to Wichita State? Boise State.
Oh, and he clutches. But he doesn't take the op.
It's so close to the
Last
half,
round
and
before
he wouldn't have been able to.
Oh, yeah.
The
This is last
spike was
round,
about to
but-
go off, too.
He still didn't save the op, though. You got to go back for the operator.
Not if the spike is going to take you out by it blowing up.
Hey, I mean, it's operator or life. I mean, some people would choose the operator.
What did I just say about the casino and the house always winning?
Well, I mean, look at how much money they got. How much are they really going to lose?
I mean, that was probably that's why they didn't go for the op. Was the thing.
But how much money could they have saved?
I am not engaging in this backwards logic debate with you right now. I just see a knee poking out, and Camps doesn't take the bait on that shot.
Camps did not shoot the knee. The one place the operator can't one-shot.
Yep.
Still holding this angle, though. I'm not sure if anybody noticed that he was there, but Koss holding market, or he's holding tree, and hoping that he can pick somebody out early and not meet the same fate that so many other Boise State members have so far. Decoy comes out, flushes out Koss. Thiessen just looking for an engage.
Boise State not getting too far ahead of themselves, waiting for the decoy, and immediately the Hunter's Fury is used in conjunction with it. Zenith picks off Royals. Now going on through the smoke, and nice headshot by Koss. What a transfer over. Koss is on fire right now. Oh, okay.
Bullseye living up to his name.
And the rest of the Broncos clutch this. Okay, they got
remaining.
one. They're going to drop on down. The rest are going to hold up into heaven as the bit of support.
Ooh.
Out around. Oh, okay.
Not letting the same thing happen twice. You are not winning the 1v3 2 times, Sui. I
Switching
apologize.
Very comfortable lead, though, for Wichita State, 9-3.
I mean, if there was any time to use all your ultimates, that was definitely the time. And I feel, and Koss definitely putting in the work for his team. taking out 3. I bet if he wasn't revealed by that bolt, he probably would have gotten 4 there.
It's just a shame the Cypher had committed to the other point there, because that would have been a great time to use the Neural Theft. But shoulda, woulda, coulda, heading on into the half. Kaigi has been the biggest turnaround. I believe Kaigi on Fracture was the lowest fragger, actually, but it's bounced on up to the top.
It's a rebound.
The only thing is that Sui's kind of in a league of their own.
Yeah, kind of mirroring what Koss was able to do last round and just take it away with a ton of eliminations and key picks. But now that they're on defense, how is that going to transfer? Royals taking a peek down mid, doesn't see anything, but man, both Jets playing the same angle, and Cams is also trying to play it as well from Tree.
Here.
Recon Bolt goes out, doesn't quite find any. Sui takes a lot of damage, gets flashed, gets taken out. It took a little bit longer than expected, but there we go. First pick goes to Royals.
Hey, that's Bronco's strong suit. They know how to play with the pistols.
Spike down mid.
Bullseye gets a nice wallbang onto Kaigi. Boise State finds themselves even, although down a bit on health, 4-4.
Cams with the teleport fake, trying to convince them that they moved away. But with Thiessen holding this corner, it's going to make it really hard to push through. Koss, though, looks like he's going to be committed to A site, meaning that angle Yoru's holding may not come to the same result that he might have liked. Cams is right there, and Militant missed. Just barely. Bullseye also finding one. 27 seconds left in this round, and Koss is going to fall to Thiessen. It is up to Crimson, and unfortunately for him, and fortunately for Wichita, Thiessen is able to close this round out. 3 wins away from victory.
Yeah, if you're going to win a pistol round, that's the one to win right there. Puts Wichita State up to double digits, puts them up to 11, and then things for the Broncos, basically, it becomes a simple math problem. They do not have any room for error and just kind of the natural ebb and flow of Valorant. You want, you know, the score to be close enough that you can survive a few save rounds that are going to inevitably come up, but now that luxury just not quite available for Boise State, and they realize it here. They're purchasing up after the first round. Going to try to match up to Wichita State. I actually like the purchase there. They realize that they can't afford to lose another one.
Yeah, 2 marshals on the side of Wichita State, though. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Cam's left to hold A site, but Sui is going to find the first pick on to Royals, leaving them down not only a marshal, but an entire operator. Meliton is going to find a pick on Teresa, which is going to help out just a bit. And Cam's still holding that site. Nobody has been able to flush him out. No one picked up the gun. Koss is able to get Cam's, but Meliton gets right into the underside of A site. And he actually gets a pretty good cam onto the heaven area as well.
Whew, dangerous situation though. Sui's still alive for Wichita State and has brought back plenty of rounds on this jet. They know where they are, all on heaven now. Bullseye, a trade 1-for-1 with Crimson. Boise State, though, knows the timer's on their side. Knows it's going to force a play out. Oh, and they managed to pick it up. That was a gutsy call. It's gutsy call purchasing up like that. Not taking the standard strategy of just saving in the second round and then going all rifles the third. But Boise State realized they had to do something right then and there, or else the math was just not going to work out in their favor.
In this game, time is just as potent a weapon as any gun. You can lose based off of time just as easily as you can lose an unfortunate headshot, and Boise State was able to leverage that with a fairly quick push onto the site, and Wichita just wasn't quite able to retake. And we're just going to have to see how it plays out from here. Thiessen looking to play middle, in that middle site. Koss looking down the center, doesn't quite find anybody, but there are quite a few there. Oh! Finds Zenith. That was unlucky placement.
Was filthy right there on the Outlaw. What a start by the Broncos. The question is, can they close the round? Gonna dash on in past the dart that was thrown out by Wichita State. Clearing out all the point and below heaven as well. Kaigi picks off Thiessen. Really good start for the Broncos to get the spike down, up 5-3.
Yeah, but we've seen Wichita State come back from situations like this before. Camera goes down. Militant doesn't have that information he'd like to have, but at least he can call out where Sui might be with that jet, and especially being so fast, you can do a ton with it. Bullseye trying to find something on this high ground, not really wanting to peek out, especially with that KO utility, making sure, making it hard for him to go through, but Bullseye's going to find the on Militant. Be it Kiyaki's going to find Sui, but Bullseye finds two more.
With the Aries. Boise State's got to be thinking not like this, but there isn't enough time. Even if Wichita State did win this showdown, Boise State's got it.
Yeah, and I think Cams has accepted his fate.
Yep.
And unfortunately,
we're going to have to
down
accept
as well.
their fate.
I'm surprised Koss couldn't get out of there a little faster, though.
All right, Boise State, 2 wins here. Still a long way to go, but
comeback.
The thing is, though, both teams are going to now try to purchase up for all rifles, and the rifle rounds just haven't been Boise State's strong suit, but they will force Sui onto the Guardian, and Royals is forced onto the Judge. And I like the pick of B. If they know they're going to go for Judge, might be able to a few spicier angles might be had. They're going to start out with the command null and move on in. And oh, Zenith, yep, Royals just couldn't close the gap and use that Judge effectively. See if Boise State can recover.
Ooh. Manages to pick Zenith, but Tisa quick to get Militant as well. Sui putting in work with the Guardian. Koss able to find Tisa, barely avoiding the Hunter's Fury. But the spike goes down, and it is just Koss left on the point. Doesn't quite see Sui, ducks and weaves, and Wichita wins the rifle round.
And the one tap on top of that, too, just wagging his finger right in Koss's face, saying, nuh-uh-uh.
Nuh-uh, no way, you ain't hitting that.
You can keep on spraying as much as you want, but I just need my one hit into your head to take it all.
It doesn't matter if you shoot 100 bullets, I just need to hit one.
There you go. That's a really cool quote, by the way. That's like something an action hero would say.
Yeah, John Wick comes out, he busts into the building. Doesn't matter how many shoot at me. I just need to put one in you.
There you go. All right, Boise State now evenly split up between A and B on this save round. This is where that math problem, I mean, if Wichita State wins this, they're at match point, and then Boise State has to win 7 in a row.
Yeah, but since they are on the pistol round here, if they get a really good start on their economy, they knock Wichita down in the rifles. I mean, they do have quite a bit of credits to work with, so they most likely need to win 2 rounds. But winning this round would most likely allow them to buy some of the better guns. And I just don't know how they're going to play into this, though. They have worse guns than Wichita, and there's a lot of factors that can go into this one right now.
Spike retrieved.
They'll pick up the spike, so they're finalizing their strategy, and it looks like to be a B push. Meanwhile, you got Wichita State just hanging on out. They've already claimed Boathouse, cleared that out. So they'll be able to just hold these long angles down against the Broncos.
30 seconds left.
Sui holding the long angle, but with only 30 seconds left, Boise State's going to have to make a play. The dart comes out of KO, and Sui doesn't see the lurker. Koss manages to get onto A site, almost onto A site.
He's in the smoke though, so
or B
Royals
site.
doesn't know he's there.
Oh, but Sui in the back line takes out 2, and Zenith is quick to find another. It is only 1 player left, and Cams is going to close it out. Wichita, match point, and they're going to be able to buy everything they could possibly dream of.
Boise State just has to hold on to a prayer that they can bring this back within the next 7 rounds. Okay, someone is being a bit toxic now if they're bringing out the Bucky here, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, it might be 12-5, but you are still in a position. You're in a position to lose in this game until the victory screen comes on. It's never too late to win a game, especially one that's so fast-paced and where every single second-to-second decision matters. It does look like the majority of Wichita is going to be pushing out, and Kisiaki's going to get caught out. Cams manages to get the pick, but Crimson is going to find one. shoots the Yoru, doesn't quite find it, and Thiessen putting that Bucky to work. Koss trying to find a few more, but he's flashing, can't quite find anything. Finds Thiessen, but the Stewie Ultimate Blade Storm is going to come out. Wichita State wins 13-5 with a overall 2-0.
They'll stay undefeated. Congratulations to the Shockers. Tough match for the Broncos to go up against, and the Shockers still maintaining their position as the top force to be reckoned with in CECC of Valorant. Well, Boise State did the best that they could and did have some good comebacks there. Managed to chip off 5 rounds. You can at least say that it wasn't a complete blowout then. I've seen plenty where, you know, you're going up against the top team, the undefeated team. They're confident and they blow you out 13-1, 13-2. At least, you know, with a 13-5, you have a couple rounds to work off of, some great VOD reviews to go forward with, and just move on to improve.
Yeah, I feel like the big downfall of the Boise State team was just a little bit of overconfidence there in that first round, and I feel like it carried over a little bit as well. And honestly, I'm excited to watch these guys move forward too, because we did see a lot of really good plays from some really standout players as well. And it should be really exciting to see what they learned from this matchup, how they can improve, and maybe what they need to improve on when they go into this matchup once again.
All right, well, that will do it for the Valorant matchup, but we still have Mountain West Overwatch to get to you, so don't go away. We will be back with the second game of the night shortly. You don't want to miss it. Here are some top 5 plays.
Yeah, plays out from here. Thiessen looking to play middle. In that middle site, Koss looking down. The center doesn't quite find anybody, but there are quite a few there.
And the paint shells won't pick up anybody, but he's just got to be happy he gets away with his life there.
Hey, the paint shells don't have to get anybody as long as they keep people away. That is a win. But got out by 2.
And immediately the Hunter's Fury is used in conjunction with it. Zenith picks off Royals. Going on through the smoke, and nice headshot by Koss. What a transfer over. Koss is on fire right now. Koss State just kind of staying in cool and ready to negate 2 ultimates with 1. That is a very big play in round 6. Decent will be able to take out Kayaki. Koss trying to bring it back. He is the top ranker for Boise State, but he will get
Nobody is pushing towards A. It does look like Wichita is actually going to B site this time. It'll be a real question. They didn't fall for it. Flicks right to the real one, and Kiziaki is going to find one.
Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance. Home is where you hang your hat, snuggle up, hide out. Home is when you're with the ones you love. It isn't just a place, it's a state of mind. At Idaho Central Credit Union, our home is Idaho. We grew up here, and we're proud to help more Idahoans with their home loan than any other financial institution. Idaho Central Credit Union. We believe home is where you make it.
Scott Matlock, underrated recruit, has built himself into one of the best defensive players in the Mountain West.
What would you do if you couldn't fail? Would you see every setback as a catalyst to keep going? This is the innovator's mindset, because innovation demands daring. It's finding thousands of ways that don't work, and the one that changes everything. It's when your unrelenting spirit sees the world's needs and says, I will create something better. So, what will you do? Will you let your genius run wild? Give yourself the space to be great? Set your sights on something even bigger, because we know changing the world doesn't happen by chance. It comes out of the blue.
At Blue Ribbon Painting, we're proud to be a locally family-owned and operated business dedicated to bringing your vision to life. Whether it's freshening up your home with interior or exterior painting, or tackling a commercial project, we've got you covered. When you choose Blue Ribbon Painting, you're not just hiring painters. You're getting a team that's committed to making your vision a reality. Call or text us at 208-369-2583 or visit us at blueribbonpainting.net. Your project deserves a blue ribbon finish.
Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena. We switch on over from CECC to Mountain West as Boise State is in the Mountain West postseason, fighting off against Air Force in the quarterfinals, the round of 8. Boise State last faced Air Force a few weeks ago and put on quite a show with a complete sweep against the Airmen. We'll see if they can do similar here tonight. I'm your host, Jacob Palmer, joined by Bryce Jensen. And Bryce, it was quite a show last time we saw the Broncos go up against the Airmen. They specifically, you remember, they specifically opened it up with the composition of all the airborne heroes.
Yeah, almost the anti-air force, if you would. But I do think we might see a little bit more of those silly shenanigans going through, because this isn't best of 3 anymore. This is we're moving into a best of 5 going into this postseason. Or, yeah, best of 5, first of 3. Mm-hmm. And I honestly think we're going to keep seeing some of these silly shenanigans, and it should be kind of fun to see what compositions they run. Boise State is kind of known for their unorthodox way of playing Overwatch, but I mean, is it really bad if it works out for them? I mean, that'll be up for you guys to decide, I guess.
Well, before they get into the match, we'll give them the best practices that they can follow in the form of Doc's Keys to the Game. Doc's Keys to the Game in Overwatch is to instill fear. Oh, my goodness. Win fights before the objectives, and I guess they really want the team to know the cooldowns. I mean,
it's on there twice, so it must be doubly important.
This is like Santa, making your list and checking it twice. You know what I mean? Know your cooldowns, okay?
Well, I mean, Doc makes the list, and we check it, and we got to check it at least twice.
All right. So it's all brought to you by a Blue Ribbon Painting. Know your cooldowns. With over 90 years of combined experience, know your cooldowns. They're proud to be Boise's go-to team of local multi-generational painters who know their cooldowns and how to level up your home. If you're ready to transform your space, visit blueribbonpainting.net to schedule your free estimate, but make sure to know your new cooldowns.
That, I guess, yes, it is very important that you all know your cooldowns, and we should probably know our cooldowns as well, just in case. And It is really important that we do follow those keys to the game, because we've seen the Broncos do it over and over and over again. It's how they get so good. It's how they win so often. They follow these keys. They work on them really well. And overall, it just works out well for them.
You can see Boise State in the snazzy orange jerseys all up there on stage. You can see Daydream and Diamond Dog both up there and ready to bring the hurt against the Airmen. I mean, Boise State's got to be feeling pretty confident in this match, seeing as how things turned out last time. But it also looks like Doc is up there on stage just to set him right if things start slipping a little bit too much.
Yeah, if you can get silly, but you can't get too silly. We've seen the Broncos Overwatch team make some mistakes because of some silly antics that they're doing. And, you know, one goof is okay, but when it starts to get a little bit of a snowball, then it's not. But we are going to be jumping into this one round done. Boise State did take Samoa 2-0, and it does look like we're going into Pariso for map 2.
Long time since I've seen Pariso be brought out. As a hybrid stage, Kings Row is usually picked, but hey, I am more than welcoming this change of scenery. So, Broncos already with a spring in their step, ready to take on the Airmen in round 2. That means it's kind of funny because for the whole first season, for the whole regular season, we were doing 2-0s, and the Broncos only had to win 2 games. But now, you know, you think that as we enter in the postseason, we're finally going to see a best of 5, but we're just seeing really a best of 3 again. The Broncos just need to win 2.
Yep, you are 100% correct. And you know, I feel like this is sort of the season of unorthodox map picks. I mean, we saw Blizzard World for a few weeks in a row. Just 2 weeks back, we saw the Kings Row come out last week. We didn't see any Blizzard World, but Pariso, another map that you don't usually see very often, but is a sight for sore eyes.
Yeah, I haven't seen it so long that whenever we're discussing kind of the alternatives to Kings Row, we've always brought up Numbani, Eichenwald, Blizzard World, but Pariso, I didn't even bring that up in the alternatives. That's how long it's been since I've seen it.
It's weird that it's the one that you never really think of, considering that the best support comes from that map.
True, very true.
Lucio, great support, turning up the volume. We don't see him very often. He kind of got replaced by Juno. He'll never be replaced in my heart, though. No, Juno could never do that.
At least wait until the next nerf. Then maybe.
Maybe.
You know, maybe.
They seem to make it a hobby of nerfing Lucio, and I don't blame them. I mean, there are some competitive players that...
You know, we really don't think that Juno has gotten enough play, so we're going to bring out a couple of buffs, a few adjustments.
And you know, a few more skins. We're not going to give Venture any skins. No. Venture... They don't get any skins. They don't need them. They get enough playtime.
Well,
Juno though doesn't get enough.
They're underground for so long. You're not really even going to see.
Yeah, I mean, so
what's
what's even the point?
Why bother?
Yeah, why bother spending all that money,
Meanwhile,
getting this skin designed, sending it off to concept artists, stealing designs off the internet, and then for it just to be underground the whole time?
Yeah, I mean, it just isn't worth the juice. Isn't worth the squeeze, is what they would say. But I mean, Juno, up in the air, all around. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, it's great.
That's a great way to show off the skins. Well, off we go into Pariso. Boise State ready to take their second match against the Air Force Airmen. And before we get to the match, we want to give a quick shout out to Dairy West. Boise State partners with the Dairy West. And they fuel to win with the Dairy West fueling station. Filled with chocolate milk, cheeses, and tons of dairy snacks, Dairy West fuels the Broncos.
I gotta say, dairy snacks are the best snacks.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just go into a fridge, grab a Tillamook cheese or just any kind of cheese, like string cheese, for example, and then you're ready to go.
If it was socially acceptable, I'd eat nothing but cheese. Okay.
Yeah. If it was sustainable, I would eat nothing but cheese. But unfortunately, your body needs a few more things than cheese. But I think the Air Force are going to need a little bit more than brute strength to win this one. Daydream sitting back on the point. Clear is going to find the first pick of the match on to Kania. On the Iari.
What's up?
I will say, though, the Zen pick is kind of fun to see as well. Second favorite character of mine.
Yeah.
I always find it funny that this tranquil monk is in the middle of a bunch of chaos all the time.
Meanwhile, Strider doing his best to stop this forward push from Air Force, just taking this upper ground. A few of the Airmen have snuck onto the point, though, and it's going to demand some voices and attentions. And Daydream, falls in the Kiriko duel. Strider will come on back for a bit of support and try to make sure that the Air Force doesn't get even one tick on this.
Hey, you have to give it to Lyric, though. He looked at the 1v1 and then respected the 1v1. So I now have a lot of respect for Lyric. Unfortunately, Diamond Dog is going to go down to Vintage Knight, but Strider is going to find the Knia pick and one on TJX. Vintage Knight's going to find another on Clear. That point is ticking, but Strider is still there and still kind of being a nuisance to the Airmen.
I'm still going to say you can respect the one-on-one without jumping off the edge of the map.
Okay, yeah.
Strider gets another.
No, he needed to reset.
Gray Raven.
Oh,
Well,
what's going on here?
oh, we're seeing. I think they're respecting the one on the duel.
Oh, Daydream getting an early lead on to Phoenix, taking a lot of damage here. But the
Suzu goes out though.
Oh, big damage. Both Suzus have been expended. And Daydream wins. And I'm gonna say, TJ, you disrespected the 1v1. He put the Tranquility Orb onto Phoenix and ruined the sanctity of a good duel. But I mean, Daydream won one way or another, so you know you can't really complain all that much.
Well, a little bit over 1.5 minutes left for the Air Force. They did manage to get one tick. Daydream, now low on health and cannot escape from Kenya.
Yeah, that Cassidy, he does a lot of damage. Lyric's gonna find that Vintage Knight can also do a lot of damage as well. That far away from your supports, there isn't a lot you can do, especially on the Junkrat pick that we haven't seen a lot of. Strider is going to find the pick on Phoenix, but it does look like it is going to be up to Diamond Dog Sojourn to sort of hold the point while Strider is away, and he is going to be pushed off by quite a bit of damage. Strider, though, can play this a little bit more fast and loose with the Primal Rage, and that's exactly what he's going to do.
Oh
and then the snipe on the Grave.
Landing these snipes on the Winston. Meanwhile, Daydream is just sitting on the point, remembering the time she won that duel. That was really cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was really cool. I mean, it feels like it happened ages ago.
Well, they're going to have two ultimates actually online for the Broncos coming on, the Riptire and the Kitsune Rush, to join that Primal Rage that's been sitting there all this time.
Oh, the trap, but he missed! He missed the one shot that would have closed it out, but Strider's going to pick Gray Raven off instead. Phoenix goes down to clear, and Strider's going to have to pop the Primal Rage. No one was able to heal him in time. Vintage Knight got trapped in the ceiling, and it's not going to save him. Riptire comes out of Lyric, manages to get Knia. And it is just Diamond Dog and Daydream with ults, while almost the entirety of Air Force has theirs. Unfortunately, the Kitsune Rush does no healing, so Lyric is going to find the pick on Phoenix. Oh, poor T. No, I'm actually not even going to say poor TX. I'm still mad at you.
You don't disrespect the duel.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it's just an orb. It doesn't deal damage, but it heals. And sometimes that can be make or break.
Another great look back into the tech. We got Vintage Knight all caught up in that time of his life.
Yeah. I will say, I do think Strider should take a break from tank for a little bit and go play some Widowmaker for how many snipes he was hitting on the Winston. I mean, I think we could see him go pretty far with just the flicks, or maybe even a career in Valorant. You never know. really good gunplay with the Winston.
They've both got abilities. They're the same game.
Yeah, basically the same game. They're both hero shooters.
Off we go to Boise State's attack. They don't even have to push the payload forward, which means that even though it has been so long since we have seen Paricio, we're only going to see a third of it.
That's kind of sad. I kind of wish we got to see the whole thing, because third point is, in my opinion, one of the best designed third points in the game. Or honestly, one of the best designed points in the game.
And we are not going to see it at all.
And that's unfortunate.
But I mean, oh yeah, another thing, Paricio, another one of the new stages with a trolley.
Oh yeah, it does have it. I don't know how we missed that one too, because we've talked about the trolley problem a lot. It does look like Lyric is going to be the one on the Widowmaker. What is Phoenix? Oh.
They were trying to enjoy the sun, the surf. They just wanted to spend a day at the beach.
Shame on you,
Is that
Lyric.
too much to ask?
Shame on Lyric. I mean, it must have just been a little bit too much to ask for Phoenix. Clear is going to pick up Grey Raven in the process, and TX is going to go down. You know, I'm fine with Lyric taking him out, but ruining a day at the beach, man. That's
yeah,
not...
it is very thematically appropriate that was the Widowmaker, though. Like,
yeah.
Feeling nothing but cold heart assassin.
If only it was the Zen instead of the Kiriko, then it would be more accurate. And Boise State wins this round, bringing them up 2-0.
Nice job by the Broncos at match point, and we'll see who gets the nod for the play of the game.
Play of the game.
And it's going to be Strider. Yeah, he was hitting so many of his shots with the Tesla gun.
Yeah, just so many good engagements onto the back line were honestly just what he needed in order to really succeed.
Oh, I love to see it.
I think he should play Widowmaker going into this next one. You know, he's super accurate, and I think we can all say that Lyric has lost Widowmaker privileges for that atrocity that he just committed.
They wanted to spend the time at the beach. It wasn't
they
even
were
that they
crouch
were
walking and everything.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's like the universal sign of peace for video games. It started all the way back in Minecraft in what, like 2009?
Yeah.
You spam the crouch button, and that means you're friendly.
I'm going to doubt that one, but I'll just leave that along the side. So we are now at match point for the Broncos, who definitely seem to be having the time of their lives right now. A lot of laughs and a lot of joking being shared across the stage by the team. Now they just need one more victory, and they will move on to the Mountain West semifinals.
That is the spot you want to be, but first you got to get through this week. And, you know, it's never too late to count out Air Force, too. They could bring out the full Air Force combo that we saw Boise State use on them. Maybe they've been practicing with it.
But why? Why would you do that?
Yes.
Okay, Boise State just waiting for the map choice coming through from Air Force. Remember, it usually during the regular season of the Mountain West, it doesn't get to round 3. Most of them are just 2-0 sweep. It'd be Esperanza.
Another trolley stage.
Another trolley stage. Yeah, I love this. We didn't even see Samoa, but that doesn't have a trolley on it. I don't care about it.
It doesn't matter.
Just trolleys for us.
Actually, you know, you never know. They could have thrown a trolley into the lava on Labs.
They could have.
They could have.
Why would you want to toss a trolley into a volcano?
Because
is that like a new version of the
you see,
Mr.
Mr. Beast, he bought this trolley, and he needed a good YouTube video, so he went, I threw this trolley into a volcano.
First one to dive in and grab the special golden ticket inside gets $1 million.
Yeah. And a lifetime's worth of medical bills.
There you go. But see, that's why it makes it so good.
Yeah.
You watch lives get destroyed. I just want to see that.
Yeah, it makes for good YouTube content. But this is what's going to make for good Twitch content. Good thing we're not on YouTube. We're on Twitch.
Well, we actually are on YouTube, too.
Oh, yeah, the YouTube short.
Not YouTube short. Bryce, where have you been this past few years? We stream on Twitch and YouTube.
Look, I sit on the desk. That is what I do.
All right, here we go. On to Esperanza, Boise State. Even in stages where they're, even in matches where they're very heavily favored to win, we usually don't see just a complete steamroll on push, because that last side is so close to the defender spawn.
Plus, it's fairly easy to get a few meters, at least in the beginning, with both of these teams. I mean, you can sneak it away from your opponent fairly easily to not get 0 on the board, but I will say it is a little bit harder to get the 3-0, or I guess the 1-0, because you don't really get points in push.
1. Objective unlocks in 30 seconds.
Off we go.
Stay focused.
Boise State still sticking on this Winston comp. Goes very heavy in on this kind of sort of divey style. Air Force deciding to bring out the hazard like they did last time.
A lot more traditional comp out of Boise State here, looking for the Winston dive with clear. Sleep Dart doesn't quite find anybody, but a lot of Air Force has been whittled down by just consistent chip damage, but Daydream is going to get slept from across the map. You don't see that too often with Kiriko, but looks like Strider is just trying to look for a way in.
Let us move the barricade.
Diamond Dog, first blood of the fight on Kenny. Get traded on back from Vintage. Clear lands the pick on TJX. Oh, trying to have a bit of a rifle duel, and Lyric actually manages to out-rifle the Sojourn.
Gets quite a bit of damage onto the Hazard as well, and Vintage is going to end up going down to clear in the end.
First fight win, and another team that just allows you to gain a whole bunch of ground early on, is that spawn is a bit of a ways away, so manage to get, I think, at least halfway to the checkpoint. Oh.
Yeah, especially with the Genji in the room trying to slow the advance. It does look like the Reaper is going to come out of Kania to try and weather the storm that is Strider Winston. I mean, he might just play Wrecking Ball anyway, and then Reaper won't exactly matter, but the anti does go through on Strider, forcing him out of the room. Vintage Knight, though, alone on point, does manage to get out, but now Strider is on the hunt for some Sojourn, but it does look like Grey Raven is going to get out of there, but maybe not alive. Nobody focused down Strider, and that proved to be fatal. Claire also finding on Phoenix is going to force a retreat from Air Force, and then
Nice
Daydream
play by
finishing it out too.
Robots moving the barricade.
Boise State will now get forward spawn off of that checkpoint and has an ultimate advantage with the Nano Boost and the Dragon Blade on deck. Air Force only having only having Hazard's ult, and they are going to have their own Nano Boost here very quickly.
Yeah, but out comes the Nano Blade from Clear, but the downpour managed to get weathered by the deflect. There's one more for the Clear, and another on Kania. Dash gets reset, going for Vintage Knight. Doesn't quite find him, but he does find Phoenix for a team kill. Not as many kills as you think with the Dragon Blade, but enough of a distraction to allow for the rest of the team to take him out. And that was only 2 ults used, and Air Force only has 1 to work with themselves.
Oh, look at this flank here, Strider.
Oh, no! And he gets out!
Grey Raven with just 1 health left manages to survive.
He was knocking on death's door right there. And luckily manages to get away with Ding Dong Ditch before he caught up with him. But from the looks of things, he's not going to get out of it so easy this time. I think he got him! He got Clear before going down, but a well-placed anti-nade is going to end up doing it. But Strider.
Oh, things getting a bit goofy in this fight.
Yeah, Nano boosted Bastion, not something you see super often, but basically as close to a blender as you can get in this game.
All right. Nice bit of healing for Daydream. He'll be able to 5 at a time.
Strider is back though. Hazard gets back onto the high ground, but the Zen is on his own. TX is going to get pocketed, but it is not enough. Phoenix just cannot hit enough shots to keep him alive. Vintage Knight though on both of the supports. Looks like Daydream is able to keep them all alive though, weathering the downpour, even though the ultimate wasn't used.
What's up?
Although I will say, Air Force does have an ult advantage here. They have, actually no, never mind. Lyric and Clear have their ults back. I was about to say Vintage Knight and Grey Raven both have theirs. And
they have another Nano Blade here.
Kania is pretty close to his as well.
Off we go.
There we go, down 4-1. Doesn't quite find anything. 3K off the Nano Blade.
Yep, that's a Nano.
And that is going to be a wrap for Air Force.
That is a Nano Blade.
Oh wait. No, it is a wrap. they got off of it, so I was like, what they doing? And then they won. So good work for Boise State, taking it in 3-0 in the first round, or in this first game.
Oh, the Nano Blade! Who could have guessed?
Man, I really thought it would be that Zen Transcendent Tucson. Or one of the downforce. I'm honestly surprised it wasn't the one with 3 kills with Dragon Blade, but I guess he did also get an assist on another.
Yeah. All right, nice job for Boise State, winning that one in no time flat. It was a nice day of wins and trolleys for us, so I think everyone walked away happy with what they wanted at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, especially with all the laps coming from the stage, and honestly, it seemed like they were having a really good time in this game, and yeah, it was a good game for Boise State.
Mm-hmm. Well, that will do it for that particular match. But of course, you know that that the night isn't over with just the end of the game. We usually have a post-game interview and some top 5 plays of the game to bring to you. So we'll bring you the top 5 plays of the game and then be back shortly.
Shame on Lyric. I mean, it must have just been a little bit too much to ask for Phoenix. Clear is going to pick up Grey Raven in the process, and TX is going to go down. You know, I'm fine with Lyric take, but it does look like Grey Raven is going to get out of there. But maybe not alive. Nobody focused down Strider, and that proved to be fatal. Clear also finding it on Phoenix is going to force a retreat from Air Force, and then Daydream finishing it out to deflect. There's one more for Clear, and another on Kania. Dash gets reset, going for Vintage Knight. Doesn't quite find him, but he does find Phoenix for a team kill. Not as many kills as you think with the Dragon Blade, but enough of a distraction. I was about to say Vintage Knight and Grey Raven both have theirs. And
they have another Nano Blade here.
Kania is pretty close to his as well.
Off we go.
Here we go. Down 4-1. Doesn't quite find anything. Daydream getting an early lead on to Phoenix, taking a lot of damage here.
Nice. Suzu goes out, though.
Oh, big damage. Both Suzus have been expended.
Welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena. As I promised, we have a post-game interview for you here tonight. And I have been reliably informed that all of the Overwatch players wanted to go and get ice cream. So good for them. Unfortunately, not all of us life isn't a fancy assorted bowl of cashews for all of us. So some of us still have to stay here and get the work that needs to be done for the night. And that means I have Doc Haskell, head coach of Boise State Esports, up here on desk with me to not only talk about the match we just had with Overwatch, but you were also here for the Valorant match a little bit earlier tonight. We'll start out with that. I mean, great debut for the Valorant Blue Squad, but obviously a very tough matchup going against an undefeated team. What were some of the goals and the overall feeling we came away from that match?
You know, I mean, when you're playing against Wichita State, we know that they're a good school. They've been doing really well for a long time. They do have a leadership change at the top, but they haven't dropped at all. So we just wanted to come out and play them tough, take rounds that we should be able to take. And they did things that teams that are undefeated do. They find ways to clear it out. We also found ways to do things in this Overwatch match. Phoenix, who is the leader of the Air Force squad, who's been a great friend all season. They've been doing great. They decided they were going to have a Curie 1v1.
Yeah.
And it just kept coming to point. And then on the third time, we thought we were going to settle it. And there was a terrible decision by one of our players playing the Alari by sniping theirs straight out of the game.
That was.
Come on,
they just wanted to enjoy the beach. I mean, I'd like to take a trip to the beach.
Yeah.
Just wasn't. But like I said, very thematically appropriate. It was on the Widowmaker. Like, no emotion, pure assassin instinct.
Just pure assassin instincts. Well, it was on the Alari. He was playing the Alari when he did it.
Well then he swapped over to the Widowmaker because that's what fit him.
Very true. Very true. Yep. That was chaos.
Well, the thing was I was kind of thinking, well, who do we give the overall Kariko dual prize to, because each of them won one fight. But then looking back on that, and it's much to Bryce's chagrin, he did call it out, that Zen did get involved in that one-on-one with the orbs.
Well, I understand that, which it does make sense. However, we did not specify that you could not be unaided. So there are a lot of rules in the 1v1 that have to be kind of determined. This is a long tradition in the Mountain West. You might remember in the very first Overwatch championship in Las Vegas, there was a very specific Torb 1v1 on Volskaya, hammers only.
That's
hammers only, which Joey won.
That's great.
that first time.
So it's impressive rules lawyering is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much. We also realized that we need to build a 1v1, workshop island set just to have ready to go at all time if we need to settle something.
All right.
But I mean, Air Force is amazing. We love them as a group. They had an incredible season. They had some good wins. They made the playoffs. They're to be commended. I mean, they've got a few other things going on at Air Force Academy that they're worried about. So, yeah, we love it.
Yeah, it's been a very fun time overall, and a lot to look forward to. It seems, last thing I want to leave on, it seems almost surreal that it's just a few weeks left, and then we're all loading up in the van.
Yeah, loading them in the van and going to Vegas. That'll be a lot of fun. PEC is going to be very, very cool.
And my first time personally seeing the HyperX Sports
Yeah, that's
Arena.
right.
I haven't been in there.
I always forget that a lot of our crew here has not been. Valorant has been, Overwatch has been, Rocket League has never been. Our production staff has never been to those events. Yeah, you're going to really like it. It's
I
gonna be
never
cool.
thought I'd say the day that my parents beat me to a tech trend, but they were actually at Las Vegas about a year or two ago and were like, hey, did you realize there's an esports arena here? I was like, yeah. So, yeah, they beat me to that one.
Oh, my goodness.
But I'll just be happy to be there.
You just got gapped by mom and dad. That's
I know,
unfortunate.
That's never.
So let me ask you a question. Let me turn this on you.
Okay.
What are you looking forward to most about going to that event?
What am I looking forward most about going to that event? I mean, I have been in the Boise State Esports Arena for such a long time.
Yep.
This has been probably the one arena. I'm trying to think back if there's been anything. I mean, I've been to Eglin Air Force Base,
Yep.
but I have never been in like a true big esports arena with all the pomp and circumstance and the show and the lights. And
you're going to really like it. It's a world-class facility, but it's also going to feel like home. It's a really cool place.
Well, that's I can hardly wait. So, thank you so much for joining us. But as always, you don't want to go away from us for the rest of the week because we have more esports action to bring to you throughout the week.
Big one, CVAL tomorrow.
Yeah,
CVAL round of 8.
It's going to be a big one, so don't leave. And then on Thursday, too, we'll have a little bit of card games to bring to you with Hearthstone.
It's coming back.
That's always nice. So don't go away. Like I said, every day you want to be tuning into Boise State Esports or visiting us here at the arena, open noon to 9. But that'll do it for us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow with CVAL. You have a good night.